Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron is grieving, Cole Howard J. Eddie Peck. With Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller out of the country and unreachable. This could put Holden Novak Nathan Owens in an interesting position. Especially considering that Kane Ashby Billy Flynn has given him a list of names. Could Claire end up pregnant, and if so, will she keep her affair a secret? Keep reading and let's talk about what could happen with this storyline. Kyle Abbott's Paris distraction. Let's begin with Kyle, who is out of the country, with several other people in Genoa City. The Newman and Abbott families went to Nice, while Kyle and everyone else learned that Aristotle Dumas is actually Kane. None of them seemed to have cell service. Kyle mentioned to Audra Charles Zulica Silver that he really needed to check in with his girlfriend. While Audra seemed dismissive at first, Kyle reminded her that Claire's father is fighting for his life. In any case, Kyle never could get any bars on his phone, so he will be distracted by Audra. Cole Howard's death back in Genoa City. Claire and Victoria Newman Amelia Heinel are heartbroken about Cole's death. Fans know that Claire really needs support, but aside from Victoria, most of her family is in Nice at Kane's estate. Of course, Claire will undoubtedly have another panic attack. It is assumed that Holden will jump to Claire's rescue once again. Kane Ashby's list. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Holden has already begun forming a connection with Claire. Then, Holden received a list of names to get closer to, one of which was Claire. With almost everyone out of town, Holden will have an easier time getting Claire to open up and trust him. These two might even end up in bed together, especially if they keep sharing Vespers together. Claire Grace Newman pregnant. Kyle might come back from Nice and frantically try to explain he had no cell service. If Claire cheated, she might not want to lose Kyle, so she could keep quiet. However, Claire could become pregnant. What will she tell Kyle then? Will she try to keep her betrayal a secret and hope that the baby comes out looking like Kyle? I'm thinking about how obsessive and fixated Holden seemed when running into former flame Audra. I wonder if Holden will get just as obsessive once learning Claire is pregnant? It certainly would be an interesting twist, so stay tuned. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. Fantastic! Let's craft a creative spoiler-style article under the title, The Young and the Restless spoilers. Claire's baby bomb. Is Kyle or Holden the daddy? Below is a narrative-style piece, creatively imagining a soapy why and our spoiler scenario. About 2,000 words, in a single continuous paragraph. As you requested, in the relentless whirlpool of secrets and scandals that is Genoa City, where affairs bloom and shatter like fragile glass and alliances pivot on whispers and longing glances. The Young and the Restless is about to detonate a storyline, so jaw-dropping, it threatens to reshape family trees, business dynasties, and the fragile peace hanging by a thread between the Abbotts and the Newmans. For as the coming weeks unfold, fans are about to be rocked by a shocking revelation that Claire Grace, the troubled but increasingly sympathetic niece, newly re-welcomed into the Newman fold, discovers she's pregnant, sending ripples of speculation through the town and sparking a burning question that will keep viewers glued to their screens. Is the father Kyle Abbott, with whom she shared a vulnerable, fleeting connection during her fragile early days of freedom? Or is it Holden, the mysterious newcomer whose charisma and hidden past have already begun to raise eyebrows and set off alarm bells among Genoa City's wary elite? Because it all begins when Claire, who has been doing her best to navigate life after Jordan's manipulations and carve out a new identity separate from her villainous history, starts to feel waves of dizziness and fatigue that she initially brushes off as stress from trying to prove herself to the wary Newmans and fit in at Marchetti, where Summer, in a show of cautious kindness, has offered her a chance to learn the ropes in fashion PR. But as the days pass, Claire finds herself struggling with waves of nausea that leave her pale and shaking in the Marchetti bathroom, her hand pressed against the cool marble as memories flash through her mind of the night, months ago, when she and Kyle, both raw with pain and confusion, ended up sharing a passionate moment in a dimly lit corner of the Abbott guest house after a particularly fraught family dinner, a night neither of them has dared speak of since. Though every time their eyes meet across the Marchetti office floor, there's a charged silence between them that Summer is starting to notice, though she's too consumed with her own battles between fending off Phyllis's constant meddling and trying to keep Marchetti afloat in the wake of financial turbulence to fully piece together what's brewing beneath the surface. And yet, just as Claire begins to come to terms with the possibility that she's carrying Kyle's child, Holden strides into her orbit like a tempest, flashing that wolfish grin and offering gentle words that slip into flirtation. And though she's wary, Claire can't help remembering the night she and Holden went for coffee at Crimson Lights. After running into each other during one of her therapy sessions, how he made her laugh in a way she hadn't laughed in months. How one thing led to another and she found herself in his arms beneath the neon glow of the GCAC rooftop bar, kissing him with a desperate hunger for comfort and connection. And as she racks her brain, counting backwards on her calendar, Claire realizes with a surge of panic that the dates overlap just enough to cast doubt on who the father could be. And so, trembling, she slips away during a lunch break and buys a pregnancy test at a drugstore across town, and when the screen flashes positive, she nearly collapses, pressing her fist to her lips to muffle the sobs, because she knows that no matter what path she chooses, this child and the question of its paternity will shatter the delicate balance she's been trying so desperately to achieve. And as word inevitably begins to leak out, the Genoa City rumor mill kicks into high gear, with Phyllis Summer in the Marchetti office demanding to know why Claire has been so pale and jumpy lately, planting seeds of suspicion that lead Summer to confront Claire directly. And when Claire bursts into tears and admits she's pregnant but isn't sure who the father is, Summer recoils as though struck, torn between compassion for Claire's vulnerable state and the heartbreak of realizing her estranged husband might have fathered another woman's baby. And meanwhile, across town at Society, Kyle, blissfully unaware of the bombshell about to detonate his life, is attempting to hash out business strategy with Billy Abbott over cocktails when Summer storms in, eyes blazing, and hurls the news at him, leaving Kyle stunned, his drink spilling onto the table as he stammers that it was only one night and that it didn't mean anything, but the horror in his eyes makes clear that it means everything now. And as Billy raises his brows and mutters something about the Abbott men never learning from their mistakes, Summer storms out, leaving Kyle chasing after her into the neon-lit night, begging her to listen, while at the same time Holden, having caught wind of the gossip through Phyllis's ever-quick grapevine, shows up at Claire's door, demanding to know whether he could be the father. And though his words are gentle, there's a sharpness to his tone that makes Claire flinch, and she realizes with a chill that Holden might not be as harmless as he's seemed, especially when he cryptically mutters that if the baby is his, it changes everything, that he has plans for his future in Genoa City and he intends to claim what's his, leaving Claire shaken and afraid. And as the storyline spirals further, Nikki Newman becomes involved, pulling Claire into the Newman Ranch for a tense heart-to-heart in the solarium, where the chandeliers sparkle overhead and the silence is filled only by the gentle ticking of Victor's antique clock. And Nikki, with her ice princess grace, urges Claire to come clean about everything, warning her that secrets have a way of festering until they destroy entire families. And while Victor, upon hearing whispers of Claire's predicament, begins privately consulting Michael Baldwin about potential legal implications and inheritance questions should the child prove to be an Abbott heir, Nikki is more concerned about the human cost, haunted by memories of her own painful pregnancies and how children born into Newman drama often become pawns in power games. And meanwhile, Jack Abbott, who's been struggling to keep the family united in the face of Chancellor Winter's looming threats and the recent return of Kane Ashby stirring trouble, is utterly blindsided when Billy lets slip that Claire might be carrying an Abbott child, and though Jack tries to remain calm, insisting the family will handle it with compassion, there's a deep worry in his eyes as he contemplates the possibility of yet another Abbott scandal exploding in the press, especially with the tabloids still salivating over every morsel of Newman versus Abbott conflict. And as Jack pulls Kyle aside in the Abbott mansion living room, the two men have a charged conversation, where Kyle, near tears, confesses that while he doesn't love Claire, he can't walk away from his child if the baby is his, but he also can't bear the thought of losing Summer forever. And Jack, voice tight with paternal pain, tells his son that while mistakes happen, the truth always comes out, eventually. The only question is whether they'll be the ones to control the narrative, or whether they'll let the town do it for them. And over at Crimson Lights, Mariah and Tessa stumble into the story when they run into Claire crying over a decaf coffee. And though Mariah tries to offer comfort, reminding her that the town loves redemption stories and that people can forgive a messy past, Claire insists that no one will forgive her if she's torn to families apart, and that even if she wants to believe she deserves happiness, She's terrified that her baby might become the living symbol of all the chaos she's caused, and as the days grow longer and tension simmers like a pressure cooker, Phyllis continues digging for dirt, determined to expose Holden's background. Certain he's hiding something that could give her leverage either against him or against Claire, while Summer wavers between fury and heartbreak, trying to decide whether to stand by Kyle or end things once and for all. And in a climactic Friday episode that promises to leave fans screaming at their screens, Claire decides to book a DNA test that will definitively reveal whether Kyle or Holden is the baby's father. Though she trembles at the thought of what that answer will mean for her place in Genoa City, for the fragile peace between the Abbotts and Newmans, and for the possibility that her baby might be born into a legacy of scandal and suspicion. And as the credits roll, Claire stands alone, at the Abbott mansion's front door, cradling her stomach, eyes shining with unshed tears as she whispers, "Please let this child have a chance at a normal life." While somewhere in town, both Kyle and Holden are seen staring pensively out their respective windows, each man's face a complex mask of fear, hope, and unresolved feelings, leaving viewers utterly riveted and desperate for answers to the burning question: whose baby is Claire carrying, and will this child unite or destroy Genoa City's most powerful families forever? Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our YouTube channel for more update news.